The following program is a podcast1.com production.
You are listening to a special best of edition of the Laura Ingraham Show. Why settle for less when you can get the best?
Your healthy radio addiction starts now.
Power to the people!
The Laura Ingraham Show.
Neighbor, neighbor, don't you worry what goes on in my home. You always looking for something doubtful about.
Residents who live along Osage Circle have never had a neighbor quite like the guy who lives at this house. People that live up and down the street say the man opens his door in the nude and even talks on his cell phone, all in clear view of his neighbors.
Well, that's quite a display. This has been going on for how long? 10 years? He's been standing around nude on the phone? I don't understand that walking around nude thing. Some people are just fine with that. I'm not. I've never been someone who... There are the people in the locker room who walk around. Put clothes on. I can't stand that. I actually go into the bathroom area and get changed. I don't like people looking at me. Look away. Avert your gaze. I don't like that. That's why I don't like locker rooms. I can't stand them. I go into the into the toilet area and change. I don't care. Since I was little, I've hated locker rooms. I don't like them. But some people are fine. Some people parade around in locker rooms with just gratuitously walking around without clothes. And also, it's really gross when they've just worked out and they're sweaty and they're sitting down on the bench. I'm like, not. Yeah, exactly. I'm not putting my bag down on that bench, let alone sitting on that bench after you just placed yourself on it.
It's when they get out of the sauna.
Oh, no. Oh, before the sauna when they smell. It's like, this is foul. And okay, so that's just one issue, the people who walk around naked. But this is the odd thing with this story is the neighbors have no ability to do anything about it, right? This is the guy's home. And the Naked Neighbor story is on our Facebook page, by the way, if you want to read more about it. But this has been going on for some time in North Carolina. And the neighbors are just at their wits' end. I mean, kids see this guy, and it's becoming something of an attraction. Are people driving by and throwing money into the hat? I mean, it's just like people who have the light display at Christmas. People start driving through the neighborhood.
Neighbors say he does this 3 to 4 times a week for the past 10 years.
It's not good, to have people around here walking around naked like them, a grown man like that. And all these kids out here,
Well, that's an interesting question about freedom, though, right? If your house truly is your home. Raymond, what do you think about this? Raymond's just blushing.
I'm not blushing. My feeling is, keep your stuff inside.
Keep your junk in your own trunk.
Keep your junk in your trunk.
Is there a pun intended for that?
We don't want to
see it. And I mean, unless you're a supermodel and you're charging admission and it's a holiday or something, we really,
right.
Even then,
we don't.
They're children, they're postal people who have to come through the neighborhood, they're lawn cutters. They didn't sign up for this.
Do we have a picture of what he looks like?
It doesn't matter what he looks like. We don't want to see it.
Well, some of the women out there may disagree. But no, is he a good-looking man, or is this a man with a big paunch?
Let me tell you.
Is he good-looking?
Let me allay your fear.
Does he have pecs,
I
or
will
is
tell
it
you this.
Paunch? Pecs or paunch?
I will never forget one time I was in Europe at an undisclosed city, and we checked into a hotel.
That's nasty.
Oh, Mike's screaming.
Yeah,
he says
of course.
He's nasty looking.
And as we looked out, I realized
hairy.
the beach this hotel was on was a nude beach. People who
South
engage in nudism,
yeah.
People who engage in nudism, they are rarely the best-looking specimens of the human persuasion, okay?
I find it so. I mean, and I know the human body's beautiful. It is beautiful, but I don't need to see
not all human
your
bodies
saggy
are beautiful.
breasts. I'm not interested in seeing those. I'm not interested in seeing your buttocks, wafting in the wind, and I'm not interested in seeing any of this. And I don't think most people are. But what is it about people who want to be exhibitionists? Isn't that an odd? To me, it's an odd thing. I do not understand it.
So this guy then he parades around, I guess, in the front door. He's in the front window. He's just going about his day.
Well, they keep calling the police about their naked neighbor.
Right, he's just hanging on the cell
Right,
phone.
well, that's the question. What
does he do for a living? Does he not? Does he have a job that he has to put clothes on? I mean, is he married? What do we know about this person?
Yeah, but couldn't you have some community? I mean, forget the law. Couldn't you have a community reg? Like, we have a community association, and they have all kinds of totalitarian regulations about pulling your trash cans in. You can't have a basketball court out.
Yeah.
So, shouldn't you have to put your wrap up your junk?
Right.
If you're
residents say the man opens his door in the nude and talks on his cell phone, all in clear view of his neighbors. He's doing this to provoke a reaction, and he's getting a reaction. Clearly, if he could walk around his house and not be seen, he could pull his blinds or, put the shades on or do it at night with the lights off or whatever it is he's doing. But he's doing this on purpose. Do you think your home is your sanctuary? And if you want to walk around in the nude and hang out the door, then you should be able to. 855-40-LAURA. We're also going to talk to Brian Kilcommons in a few moments because there is a new trend that has some detractors beyond just standing nude in your doorway. Sleeping with your pets. As people become more isolated, fewer people are getting married like they used to, normal ages and all that. They replace their companionship with the animal companion, and the animal companion is sharing beds with individuals, sometimes married, sometimes not. Is this a big deal? Should a pet be in your bed? Raymond, I know you have very strong views on this.
Yeah. No, I like naked neighbors. I don't like pets in beds.
No.
It's
too much.
You can keep your naked neighbor, and you can keep the pet.
The woman is funny, though, naked. I don't want the naked. The kids seeing the naked. I love that, naked.
Well, it's just, why would you want an animal?
I have sometimes have
Why
Annie
would
in
you
the
want
bed,
an animal in the bed? Yeah, but that
I feel
thing,
sorry
I know what
for
that
her.
thing has done in your bed, because you come in here with the long look on your face saying, peed all over the bed in the middle of the night, I feel this stuff. I mean, that to me is like a horror
that was
show.
Nico. I
Say,
think
that
was
the dog
Nico.
or-
That was Nico.
No, it was the dog. You said the dog vomited all over your
Oh, that was
pillow and
vomit.
all over
Yeah,
your
no,
thing.
that was bad. Yeah.
Oh, okay, well, that's better than pee. I guess
She hasn't
vomit.
done
That's
that
lots
lately.
of fun in the middle of the night.
I'm now banishing her to the pillow on the floor because she just shifts around too much. It's more. She's big though. She's too big for the bed. Even if sometimes a little tiny. Like Maddie was a little small dog.
No. I don't like things in the bed with me. It's enough to have, you have your spouse. That's enough.
And then
You
Mariella
don't need,
climbs
because
in.
that's only one person moving in the bed. But you don't want
Felix
20
under.
things in the bed. You don't want animals. You don't want children.
Remotes, phones,
Nothing at all.
iPads. Do you
No.
know your neighbor? Here's some questions. We're gonna have Brian's gonna join us, but
Next question will be: would you invite a naked neighbor into your
the
bed?
naked
No.
neighbor into the bed
No.
with a pet. No.
A naked
First
pet
of all,
into your
do you
bed.
know your neighbors? Do you really know your neighbors well? I know one of my neighbors well, and we shovel the walk of our other neighbor, and we say hi to it. But we know neighbors up the street, but my immediate neighbors, we're not going and having tea over their house. And it used to be we kind of were closer to our neighbors. I think growing up, we tended to have closer ties to our neighbors. That's my sense, and I get this from a lot of folks who say, no, we have some neighbors who are friends, but it's different today. Why is it different? Why do we isolate? Is it because there's so much in the way of cultural diversity in the country that you feel like you just don't have as much in common with your neighbors, or life is too busy? Your kids used to play outside together. You'd sit and have a cup of coffee together, a glass of wine in the afternoon, and you talk about your kids, and they were outside. And that's what moms did. Moms didn't work either. Many more moms were at home. I mean, some moms worked, but many more moms were at home. And so they had to bond with each other. Otherwise, they'd go crazy just with kids all day. So they had to bond with each other. So that's how neighborly relationships flourished, and people helped each other. And In some communities, they still help each other, I think. I mean, in some communities, it's like the old days, but I think more often than not, people aren't as close to their neighbors as they once were. Do you agree with me? You're listening to your Healthy Radio Addiction, the Laura Ingraham Show, 855-40-LAURA. We have a lot to get to. Brian Kilcommons is going to join us, a renowned dog trainer who trains dogs internationally for all sorts of fancy people, organizations, police departments, drug agencies, and he has written books on dog behavior. He is going to chime in about how dogs and cats in your bed may be ruining your sleep.
How about the neighbors that don't pick up after your pets?
Oh no, I have a message about that too. I'm going to get to that.
Mm-hmm.
The people who don't pick up. Oh no, you step in it drives you crazy. We'll take a break. Brian will join us. Your questions for Brian: pet training issues, dog issues, neighbor issues. We'll tackle all of it. Do you know your neighbor? If so, tell us a little bit about the relationship if it's a good one. Do you have a bad neighbor, a neighbor who drives you crazy, and why? We'll try to help you with that. Don't go away.
Oh, yes, they call him the street.
And it's not good, to have people around walk around nigga like them, a grown man like that. And all these kids out here.
Thanks to my wonderful sponsors and your support, I'm glad to say that we can provide this podcast at no cost to you at all. As a loyal listener of my program, please consider testing our sponsors because they're the ones who actually cover the cost to produce this daily show. So if you're a dog lover like I am, how about giving your dog, your best friend, a fresh, healthy, and nutritious diet? When dogs eat well, they live longer and happier lives. I'm here to tell you about NomNomNow.com, which cooks the world's best dog food. It's made fresh in the USA and delivered right to your door every week. Nom Nom Now's customized recipes cook fresh in our kitchen, delivering healthy nutrition you can actually see. Switch to Nom Nom Now and your dog will have more energy, a shinier, softer coat, and a longer, better life. Nom Nom Now really is the best food for your best friend. And right now you can save 50% on your first 2 orders of fresh, healthy dog food when you use my code Laura at NomNomNow.com. That's code Laura and save 50% on your first 2 orders. NomNom now.com. And code word LAURA.
Now I'm the one sleeping all alone. Sleeping single in a double bed.
Does the dog get to sleep in the bed, or is it strictly forbidden? New research could help settle the debate by revealing how cuddling with your pet can impact your sleep.
I let my dog sleep in my bed with me. He jumps in the bed before I do.
You are listening to the Laura Ingraham Show, 855-40-LAURA, tackling 2 big issues this hour: neighborliness and pet obsessions. Well, when you're so obsessed with your pet that the pet has to sleep in the bed. Is it an obsession or is it healthy? And it's just cuddling. What's the big deal? I mean, there's all this research out now that says it's maybe not that great for you. Similar to having a device near your bed that you stay up and you don't get proper sleep. And what about neighbors? Are you a good neighbor? What do you try to do for your neighbors, or do you avoid your neighbors? Some people actually avoid making eye contact with their neighbors. I know those people.
That's Becca.
I'm always saying hi. Becca doesn't say hi to her neighbors?
No.
Why? Are they not nice people?
They're part of the ones that leave the dogs stuff in the yard.
So that's a bad neighbor. A neighbor who does not pick up after the dog.
Even after I said something to them, she still doesn't like them.
She still doesn't like them. Okay. Well, if you don't like them, you don't like them. That's just part of the deal.
You go make friends.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll take all your calls. Be patient. We'll get to all your calls. This is your show. And always fun is our friend Brian Kilcommons. He's considered one of the most renowned dog trainers in the United States and author, and we love him, and he joins us now. Brian, it's great to talk to you, my friend. How are you?
Hey, Laura. I am absolutely terrific and enjoying my healthy addiction.
Oh, now, are you still in points unknown in South America? Are you still down in Ecuador? What the heck are you doing down there?
I am in Cuenca. I am working with the city of Cuenca to help establish animal control.
Oh my! Establish animal control because they have a lot of wild dogs there.
There are about 10,000 homeless dogs in the city. So we are setting up systems now to address that, and also expanding spaying and neutering. And I'm working with a refuge called the Refugio del Mejor Amigo. As you can say, my Spanish is getting a little bit better.
Wow, qué bueno.
Yeah, sí. So it's, and I'm doing a lecture and seminar this weekend. It's bilingual, so it's both in English and Spanish.
Oh, debemos hablar español.
And it's,
Okay, claro que sí. Debemos hablar español sobre los gatos y perros. So how is your R rolling? Is that good? This is really boring. I should move on to our topic.
Yeah, my mouth is starting to adjust.
Oh, okay.
It's not
got
easy.
It. All right. So what about this?
No bueno.
What about this new story about how pets in the bed are actually contributing to America's sleep deprivation? Because people are sleeping less and less, and we know that leads to aging and premature, heart problems and all sorts of other issues with health issues. What about the pets in the bed? Have you been a fan about that?
Laura, I've been dealing with people for a long time with dogs.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're going to do what they want to do. If they enjoy the dog sleeping in the bed, the dog's going to sleep in the bed. But there are a couple of things that people may want to consider. One is having some manners. Most of my dogs have been big dogs. They don't sleep with me because they wind up pushing me against the wall. You know, I'm in the fetal position and they're stretched out.
Right.
So it's like, now you can get
your mastiff, right? You had that mastiff.
Yes. So what I do is, if I want the dog in the bed, one of the rules I establish is you have to be invited. So the dog comes up, it sits, and once it hears the word hup, it's allowed to jump up. If it doesn't hear hup, it's not allowed to jump up. I can't tell you how many people have called me and said, I'm in a new relationship. The dog won't let my significant other in the bed. Okay. So establishing some rules with this really helps.
Well, Annie, you'll be happy to know, after she chewed me through thousands of dollars worth of furniture, because apparently we didn't have enough chewies, we didn't keep her in the crate long enough, so she got very big, and she's actually turned out to be a great dog. I mean, she's still a little skittish, but I stuck it out with her, Brian, and she's turned out to be a great dog, and she sits and looks at me and will not go on the bed unless I give her that similar command. She will not jump on the bed. So she's actually turned out to be a pretty great dog, all in all.
She's a lovely dog, and you've done a great job with her. So, but you see, as far as establishing that, and also you have kids. You know, she doesn't realize how big she is. If she has to wait to jump up on the bed when the kids are on the bed,
right,
the likelihood of knocking them over or hurting them in some way is really reduced.
Well, she also has this thing where, I'm going to take a picture of it, where I say dancing bear, and I'm sitting down and she's sitting down, and then she puts her paws on my shoulder while she's sitting. And I say dancing bear, and she likes me to rub her stomach. And it's dancing bear. It's the cutest thing, but she loves it. And she puts her eyes, she closes her eyes, and she cranes her neck back in this yoga-like position. It's crazy. I got to take a picture of it because it's so darn funny, Brian. You'll scream when you see it. But she's turned out to be she's different from my labs. I mean, a different type of dog, but I love her. All right, when we come back, Brian is nice enough to entertain your pet dilemmas. Okay, training dilemmas, problem behavior, and hell, maybe he'll help us with the problem neighbor behavior as well. Don't go away.
What do you think if I say I love to sleep with my dog Piglet?
I think whatever works for you. If sleeping with a pet helps somebody, I think we say don't change it. But if it disrupts your sleep, at that point we say, okay, you might want to rethink that.
Stay tuned for more of this special edition of The Laura Ingraham Show.
Sleep one, sleep tight.
Sleep is supposed to be uninterrupted, and sometimes the pets like to snuggle with you, and that can wake you up, and sometimes pets can snore or bark. That can wake you up.
I personally don't like to sleep with pets, not because I wouldn't like the comfort, it's just they're disruptive to sleep.
Well, this morning at 4:40, Maria, God bless her, she's had one of those viral things, coughs. I see this image walking into the room. I hear the door, and it's one of the three kids, right? And the house isn't on fire, nobody's crying, but it's just an image standing over me. And Annie doesn't even react. I mean, she's just sleeping on the floor, by the way. And then I said, Maria, is that you? Yeah. I said, what? Oh, it's 4:40 or 4:15, something like that. She's coughing. But it's just one of those tickles, tickling. She's fine. I mean, she's going to school. I said, Maria, is it you need anything or no? And I said, well, go back to bed. It's just too early to be getting up. Okay. And she just goes back to her bed. Maybe she was sleepwalking. I don't know, but she just came in, coughed, woke me up. I was up for the rest because I can't go back to sleep. And so if a pet's in the bed, and they have their sleep apnea, of course you're going to have another problem. They're going to wake you up. We stay with Brian Kilcommons, dog trainer to the. I say dog trainer to the stars, Brian, but My Smart Puppy, of course, series, and just awesome. I mean, I love Brian, and he just has such great advice on pet training, behavioral issues with pets. Brian, a lot of people are calling in. They have questions. We'll continue to take them on Facebook as well. 855-40-LAURA is the number here. Stephen in Colorado, line 5. Stephen, go ahead. Dogs, beds, sleep. Go ahead.
I'm here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hi, Laura.
Hey, go ahead, Steve.
Hey, I sleep with 4 dogs and a wife, including a gigantic male St. Bernard named Elvis, and then 3 smaller dogs. And I couldn't imagine not having them there, really.
Okay. Raymond or Brian, do you have anything to say about this?
Hey, Steve.
Go ahead, Brian.
It's a lot of laundry, isn't it? It's a lot of laundry.
It is, but they're like our children, and they just love it. I mean, I don't think they can imagine life without sleeping in our bed.
That's what's
really
most important, isn't it? What they can imagine.
It is, absolutely.
They're dogs. They're not imagining anything. They're just sleeping. I mean, do you have kids, Steve?
They're grown. They're grown.
Okay, so they're like our.
Did the kids sleep in the bed with you all, Steve?
When they were little children, they did, yes.
How about when they were grown children?
No, not when they were grown children. They had their own beds.
That's see, we just have a firm rule: no children in the bed, no dogs in the bed, because
Rebecca basically is lucky if she gets
the
in
bed
there.
is basically for 2 things.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, that's all. Mm-hmm. Just those 2 things, and that's a duo activity.
That's
just 2 people only.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah.
And nobody else.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it's sacrosanct.
It's a sacrosanct place.
It is. It should be. It's the marriage bed, not the family bed. I mean, invite the naked neighbor over.
Brian,
next time.
but Brian, you took the words out of my mouth. When I heard Saint Bernard, I heard drool on the sheets.
Yeah, but you know what, Steve? This makes you happy, right?
Well, he just hung up, so how happy can he be?
Okay.
Let's go to Lynn. Hold on. Let's go to. I want to, before we take other calls, and a lot of other people are calling in, but you don't have to just call in about sleeping in the bed with the pets, but you can call in about dog training issues and so forth. And while I have you on the line, Brian, a friend of mine had a really bad problem with a dog that she helps me out every now and then, the babysitter with the kids. She lives in one of these group houses, right? 20-something. This is what they do. They live in group houses. She lives in a group house, and I said, well, what happened to Madeline? Why isn't she living with you guys anymore? Great girl. Oh, she had to move out because of Rusty. I said, oh, is her boyfriend troubles or something? Oh, no, Rusty was her rescue dog that ended up snapping at all of us. Like, snapping at anyone who came into the house who was new, I should say. So he was okay with the housemates, but if anyone came into the home, other than the housemates, the dog could not be trusted. So you'd have to lock the dog up, and he would run at full speed against the door to try to get through the door to whatever is coming in the house. And this went on for weeks until Madeline finally had to move out, and she ultimately had to give up the dog. I mean, that's just a horrible situation.
Yeah, but Laura, one, if she's a friend of yours, you can always have them call me.
Okay, I should have done
that. Because this is out of fear. It's not out of aggression.
No. Well, it was a rescue.
Big difference. And right, but you can resolve that with the appropriate steps. So, and in fact, what I'd like to offer, which I never do, Laura, because we usually get a lot of phone calls and it's hard taking them, whatever way we want to work this, whether they email me or Facebook, I'll be more than happy to answer your listeners' emails.
Okay,
as
fantastic.
Well as answering their questions if they can't get online.
Okay.
And I never do this, but for you,
yeah. Oh, well, thank you. So we can go on your Facebook page to ask questions that we can't get in during the segment. Okay, let's go to Jim in Tampa, Florida, line 7. Jim.
Hi.
Hey, Jim.
Hi, I have nice neighbors, but they've got a real pesky dog.
What kind of dog
and
is
I can't go out in the yard.
What kind of dog?
I don't know what kind it is, but it's got a sharp little voice, and it just continually barks at me while I'm in the yard.
Like just like a high-pitched bark? Like,
yeah.
Or is it roof, roof, roof?
Yes, high pitch.
Oh. Well, have you talked to the neighbor?
I know you can buy devices that...
Have you talked to the neighbor at all?
Yeah, and, their beloved dog. Their new beloved dog, so...
Well, what do we do about that? I mean, well, it's a member of the family that won't shut up. I mean, Brian, what do you do for a dog that doesn't stop barking? That is annoying.
Well, it's the owner's responsibility, but that's always a challenge with some of these people. So, Jim, what I would do is I call the neighbors, go, listen, I was listening to the show. This guy suggested that when I come out, I throw some treats by your dog. Because what the dog is doing is warning and protecting its territory. But this is like walking up to somebody who doesn't like you and giving them $20 every time they see you. After a while, it's like, I'm not crazy about him, but okay.
Oh, so he'll stop barking.
I would start. Exactly. So instead of the dog barking, the dog's going to come up going, hey, what does this guy have? And just throw the treats in the general area. Don't try to hand the treat to the dog. But after a couple of times, you're going to find that barking is reduced considerably.
Yeah. Oh, except it's barking now. Oh, I appreciate it. By the way, Raymond's dog is a silky terrier. Okay? And Raymond's dog, Maddie, every time I am on the phone with Raymond, that dog is yapping in the background. Is it something to do with the phone or what?
No. When she hears a dog in one of the houses behind us, now these dogs are in their own homes.
She hears them.
Maddie will hear them going, and all of a sudden, I mean, it is unceasing.
Explosive.
It's like Lady and the Tramp. You remember Lady and the Tramp where one barks and the other barks and it's like a chain of barks?
And then they do a whole orchestra of
Maddie is like the baby gang leader of the block. If a dog barks, she must respond in kind and raise the volume.
She raises. Is there anything he can do about that? Because it annoys me personally.
Animal control, which I'm considering at this point.
No, animal control.
This is a big rule. Okay, I treat my dogs like anybody else in my family, and the reason is not an excuse for unwanted behavior. Because the other dogs are barking, which is going to happen every day, it doesn't mean you allow your dog to do the same. So I do two things. One is when the dog starts to bark, I praise the dog. Go, good girl, you're doing your job. Thank you. You heard something. I know somebody's there. And then I tell them enough. Once I say enough, if the dog stops right away, I'll give it a treat, clap my hands going, you're a rocket scientist. Within a couple of days, you'll go, good girl, enough, and the barking stops.
So you bribe them with treats then. We bribe them with a little treat. And okay.
Well, no, you don't bribe them. You don't bribe them. You reward them.
Reward them. Okay.
No, you're rewarding their behavior. So when they do the right thing, they get rewarded. So they want to do the right thing more and more.
I'm going to try this and report back.
Okay. There's a new study just came out, Brian, that says, and shouldn't surprise you, but the reason dogs are man's best friend is because of a hormone called oxytocin. It's produced in the brain. That's why mothers and newborn babies always seem to have that special connection right from the start. Both dogs and people produce more oxytocin when they're cuddling together for just 3 minutes. So researchers in Australia wanted to look at how dogs behaved after having their hormone levels increase. They took 62 dogs and gave them a nasal spray full of the hormone and a placebo to the other half. The dogs were then put through a series of tests in order to find a hidden treat. The researchers discovered that the dogs given the oxytocin outperformed those given the placebo. This outcome remained the same when the same dogs were tested 15 days later. So they told us oxytocin is definitely involved in a dog's ability to use human cues. Wow. And they read their owner's every move. With my dogs, they know when I don't feel well. They can read your facial expressions, so they're in tune with their human parents. Oh, yeah, you can't say pets anymore, right, right, Brian? You have to say human parents, I understand. That's the new rule.
Well, that I don't follow those rules, thank you.
I just think that is just stupid. Okay, we got Lynn in Atlanta, Georgia on line 6. Lynn, go ahead.
Oh, hi there. Good morning to y'all.
Hey.
Okay, so I'm going to cover everything. May I?
Okay, quickly, yes.
Okay, quickly. Okay, so the neighbors thing, we all talk. I say hello to all of them, help with their gardening, take the trash cans in for them, like when they're not around, kind of thing like that. There are some people that walk their dogs in our yards. Now, I will, if I find somebody walking their dogs and having them pee or poop in our yard, I'm the person who follows them and tells them to go away.
Oh, okay, that's fair. I don't have any problem with that.
Where do you live? Let me, because I have, which leads to the other thing, I have 2 dogs and a cat. Everybody jumps in the bed.
Uh-oh.
They don't jump in the bed without permission. They get out when they, but my dogs will never go in anybody's yard. They go in my yard, I pick it up, and I take care of it. What have I not covered?
Okay.
Oh, walking in the house without clothes. My house.
You walk around your house without clothes? You don't have clothes on?
From the bathroom on one side of the house to my room, to my closet, I do at times, yes.
Do you have clothes on now?
No.
Yeah. Yes.
What?
Are you clothed at this point during the conversation?
Yes, I'm wearing my pajamas.
Okay, she's still in her pajamas. That's no problem. She's just comfortable listening to the Laura Ingraham Show. We'll take a break. Brian Kilcommons will close it out. We got 10-second questions. We're going to have rapid-fire answers from Brian. He'll also continue to answer questions on his Facebook page, and you can send them to our Facebook page, and then we'll get them to Brian as well. So that's easy to do, and Brian can help us through all of that. Brian Kilcommons, don't go away.
The Laura Ingraham Show.
If I could talk to the animals, just imagine it.
All right, back with Brian Kilcommons. So let's go right to Bill, Winter Garden, Florida. Bill, go right to your point. Question for Brian.
Afternoon.
Hey, go ahead.
Listen.
All right, we got to go to the next call. Let's go to Ron, Belfort, Pennsylvania. Ron.
Yes, Laura, I have no problem with dogs sleeping on the bed covers, but the people who take the dogs, I mean, they're walking around outside, you don't know what they're walking in, but to bring them into the bed, and some of them, they put them under the covers even. I have a problem with that.
Well, yeah, well, that's true, Brian. Dogs do eat and walk in other dogs' feces regularly. So you are bringing that onto the bed as well. Let's not be, let's kind of be honest about it.
True, but you can always wipe your dog's feet, too.
No, you could have those little pet wipes so you can wipe the feet. No, I understand. Raymond's rolling his eyes, Brian.
These are people who they barely have time to bathe their own children, but now we're gonna sponge bath the dog before it come on.
Okay.
This is too much.
Throwing up this. Brent, Laura, South Carolina, line 8. Brent, go ahead.
Hey, I just wanted to say that I have 3 dogs. 2 of them labs are yellow labs, and 2 of them are one is black lab, and I have 3 cats that are American Shorthair.
Aww.
And to be totally honest with you, they take turns sleeping in the bed. Most of the time, the dogs sleep on the ground, and the cats sleep on the bed.
Do they kick each
us
other
during the
out?
day.
Do they kick each other out? One dog jumps up, the other dog jumps off?
To be honest with you, I couldn't tell you how many times they switch at night because it doesn't wake us up. But I can guarantee you, at 6:30 Eastern time every morning, the dog's got to go outside. Whether they slept with us, slept in the bed, slept in the chair, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's time to get up and get out the door. Brian, well, I guess we're pro-choice on this. I guess, Brian, we'll get 10 seconds to close it out.
Yeah, but you know what? The cat is up on the bed and the dogs are going fine. Got it. We know who's running the house.
Exactly, as usual. It's the cat in the house. Brian Kill comments. Thanks for taking the calls on and the questions on Facebook. You are listening to a special best of edition of the Laura Ingraham Show. Why settle for less when you can get the best?
You're healthy. Radio addiction starts now.
Power to the people!
The Laura Ingraham Show.
So much cooler online. So much cooler online.
Remember when Facebook was a fun, cool website for connecting with friends? Now it's just that place where your parents hang out. Awkwardly commenting on child's posts. When parents comment on their children's posts, it's for one of three reasons. To awkwardly encourage them. Sweet, I got all A's this semester.
Great job, honey. I knew you could do it. 10 exclamation points.
Well, that's the good stuff, right? When your kid does well, and as a mom or a dad, and oh, my child, it's the online equivalent of the bumper sticker. My child made honor roll at Thomas Jefferson High School. I can't stand those stickers. Okay, I would have been mortified if my mother put one of the stickers on our VW 412 station wagon. They only made our car, I think, for 1 year. It was the worst car ever. But if she had put that on my car, we're driving around town, I would want to hide, right? But that's what parents used to do. It's a bumper sticker. Then there's the shaming aspect of Facebook. Now, you're not going to put a bumper sticker on, right? Yeah, at least we'd hope you wouldn't. My kid is below average on the Common Core testing that's being done in my school. My kid gets a below average assessment in math. You wouldn't do that. So why would you do it online? 855-40-LAURA. A big piece just issued building on this research that was done by the University of Michigan, the C.S. Mott's Children's Hospital National Poll on Children's Health. And they found out that more than half of mothers and 1/3 of fathers said that social media offers them relief from the isolation of parenthood. And they share joys of being a parent online and challenges. And this has become just part of the social norm in our society today. And common topics, according to this study, that, again, parents involve themselves on Facebook on questions regarding getting kids to sleep, 28%, nutrition, 26%. Well, that's not a big deal, right? Nutrition or that's fine. Discipline, 19%, daycare and school issues, and behavioral problems, okay? Among almost 70% of the parents surveyed say they get social media tips from those with more experience. They find it helpful. Parents may share information, however, that their child finds embarrassing or too personal when they're older, but once it's out there, it's really hard to undo.
In this day and age, it's really cool to be able to express all that in this online forum. Is she going to be embarrassed when she's a teenager and has her first boyfriend that her first boyfriend can Google when she had her first poop? And did I just overshare it?
Oh my gosh. First of all, that mother, did I just overshare it? Totally. Did I just overshare it? Do I dress like my daughter and speak like my daughter, or do I speak like an adult? Totally.
Please don't do this to your kids.
Oh my gosh. First of all, when you took your first poop, I have another problem. This is my other problem with what she said. When she has her first boyfriend in high school, I'm really going back traditional, okay? There's no purpose to have a boyfriend in high school at all. That's a whole separate topic. No, you don't have a boyfriend in high school. What is the purpose of having a boyfriend in high school? To have sex? That's going to work out great. STDs, pregnancy, abortion, low self-esteem, rejection. Let's get her ready for college. Great idea. So that's the first stupid comment. I have a friend who's a boy, but a boyfriend? Oh, no, that's a big waste of time for everybody. We know it is. But that mother, say, well, I've shared her first poop. First of all, that's the least of the problems, the poop. How about bedwetting until you're 9 years old? Do you want anyone to know that? Who Who are these people, and why do we call it sharenting? I hate these new names, sharenting. Like, we're supposed to believe that makes it cooler to call it I sharent. It's like that stupid show on NBC with the three parents. Was it Ellen's show she's pushing with a surrogate, the gay guy, the surrogate, the friend? They're all one family, sort of, and it's all great. It's cool. Modern Family. This is Modern Family to the nth degree now. I can't even keep track of the various parental units in that household. But that's where we are. Do you know people who do this? Mm-hmm. Who put and give an unlimited amount of money, a limited amount of time, and I think probably end up spending a lot of money in developing their child's online profile. By the way, you can't get rid of that once it's out there. My friend, I will not identify him.
Here we go.
Okay, this is bad.
This is what I like.
This is really bad. And if he's listening, I'm sorry. I'm not identifying you, but you know I don't think it's a good idea what you're doing. His daughter, at age 9, has her own YouTube channel and blog. A YouTube channel where I guess she comments on things and she performs, and then a blog. I think this turns kids into these look at me. I'm the center of attention kind of thing, and you're constantly in need of the accolades from the online world. Oh, how many followers? Oh, I got 10 more followers today on YouTube. It turns them into these little beings who are so desperate for affirmation online. I think it's terrible. My daughter has a blog. Your daughter maybe should have a dog, not a blog. But and go outside and play, ride your bike, fall down, skin your knees. But once this information is out there, it's out there. So the shaming aspect of it, I don't like the bragging aspect of it. And I know what you're saying, Laura. On Facebook, you've posted some of Maria's notes. Well, that's just I'm sharing the fact that it makes me feel good in a world where you can't trust either political party, where Christians are being persecuted around the world, where the culture is going to hell in a handbasket. On occasion, it's nice to have something that you can smile about. But I treat that as like a picture of a puppy snuggling with a tiger. Those cute little photos. They just make you feel good. That note that Maria wrote to me on my yogurt that she packed for me, when she'd mix it all up, the berries and the plain yogurt, that made my entire day. And so you guys are my extended family, so I share that with you. But that's not going to make you, well, you made your mother yogurt when you were 9. Who cares about that? But we do care when you start documenting your child's social life, play dates, first boyfriend experiences, and ADHD or other type of learning disability. I don't want any of that online if I'm a kid. And as a parent, grow up. These people need to find other things to do with their time, these parents. I just think they're desperately bored with their lives and looking for meaning, or I don't get it. But I think it's a terrible trend.
Your kids are going to get older and they're going to get on the internet and Google all kinds of things. If you have to think about, is this crossing the line? Don't do it. Since everything's so instant, will we just instantly forget? Maybe so. Maybe my kids won't hate me for that. I certainly hope they don't.
Parents should be aware of a phenomenon that is developing out there, according to this pediatric expert, called digital kidnapping, in which strangers help themselves to photos they come across online and redistribute them, pretending that the children are their own. Children whose parents overshare are at risk of becoming victims of cyberbullying. We point to the particularly notorious case in which a Facebook group formed that mocked the ugly babies they came across on the site. That is horrible. Parents are responsible for their child's privacy and need to be thoughtful about how much they share on social media so they can enjoy the benefits of camaraderie, but also protect their children's privacy today. Ugh. This is why I have I have an official Facebook page. I don't have Facebook. I have the Facebook for the show, but I don't have a private Facebook page. But I do know a lot of my parent friends who do put an enormous amount of information about their kids on Facebook. And I get it. You're a parent, you're proud, or you go on vacation, you want to slap it up. But the better way is to have that kind of more private Facebook when it's only your friends that you can invite in, right? The people that you know, then they can get access. But not every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there who's surveying the cyber universe for kids, photos of girls who are 9 and 10 years old in bathing suits on the beach, which the cyber predators do. You don't want everyone to be able to survey your vacation photos. I mean, for instance, would you take a package of vacation photos that you develop, for those of you who still actually develop photos, and just leave them at Starbucks with some identifying information on them? Would you just leave it? Okay, I know there's some papers, newspapers, and magazines that people can peruse. Also, I just want to leave my family photos out. I wouldn't. This is why I have been notorious about not putting, full photos of my kids anywhere. I just think it's dangerous. I think the Today Show had one photo of my kids. But, the celebrities do that. Brad and Angelina, they're always traipsing around with their kids, and the paparazzi are there. You can't avoid that. Remember Michael Jackson used to put the big blanket over, and then they called the kid Blanket. Remember the kid was called Blanket in Paris. Blanket always had a blanket over his face. That was weird. Well, he was either doing that or throwing a baby out the window or pretending. Remember holding it over the balcony? God rest his soul. I mean, that is. But Blanket had it. So Michael Jackson was aware of it, right, for a while, and then that went down the drain. Do you share too much information on social media? We have a problem that police, good friends of mine in the police force in Sacramento, in California, told me about how many times they found out that burglars know that individuals are away because the individuals post their vacation photos while they're on vacation on Facebook. And so these very enterprising criminals oh, okay, they're not home. They go in, they go through a second-story window where the alarms don't go off, and they make themselves at home. And how about the criminals that sit down and have a snack? Those ones that actually turn on. I don't have premium cable.
Watch TV.
You got some HBO. We should get the refrigerator stocked.
March Madness is starting.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they have Maker's Mark here. I only have the old lousy whiskey. And they sit down and they have a whole meal. The family comes home. It's like, who's been sleeping in my bed? It's who's been in my house? And they turn out half their house is missing. But the criminals are very smart these days. So they're smart when they're just regular old, going to steal from your house, and they're very smart when they want to steal your identity or potentially use your children's information against them. Cyberbullying, other ways to taunt and perhaps extract favors from children, acting like they know your child because they've read so much about your child online. 855-40-LAURA. Are you on Facebook? If you've made a decision not to be on Facebook, why is that? By the way, you're missing a lot of my good stories on Facebook. But it's a personal matter. Do you post on Facebook? Do your kids, your parents post on Facebook? And has this become a problem? And do you sometimes have to stop yourself because you're about to post and you better not. You do that with emails now, right? You're going to write something, then you're like, this lives forever? Except if you're Hillary Clinton, then the emails just magically disappear. 855-40-LAURA. We'll get to your reaction about sharenting and parents who shame on social media or brag on social media. My deeper question is, what's really going on with these parents? Don't go away.
I tell my clients often that when you write something on Facebook, just assume that you were taking that and you were handing that to the other side. And if you're okay with that, post it. If you're not, I wouldn't. First poop, first pee, diapers, not diapers, circumcised, not circumcised.
Stay tuned for more of this special edition of The Laura Ingraham Show.
You're listening to the best of The Laura Ingraham Show.
You think some parents do tend to overshare?
Definitely. The new trend of directly right after birth, when everybody's sweaty and shell shocked, showing all of that on camera. I think that stuff is better kept for the family.
Too much.
Yes, it is.
So, speaking of someone who has not been married, I'm just going to say this. And this is where you can just laugh at me. I don't even like the videos of the wedding. Sorry, Mike.
I sent you one picture.
I don't like videos of weddings. Okay?
Now I'm
I think
posting
it turns it into a spectacle. where it could just be, this is a solemn event. You're swearing before God, unless you're like Mike and you got married in Vegas, then it's different. at the Elvis Presley wedding chapel there.
That's be the 5-year anniversary.
That's the anniversary party. I'm just kidding. But I guess if it's a small, unobtrusive camera, but how about when they bring in the lighting package for weddings?
Yeah, I didn't have that.
They have the lighting package. They have the boom mic. I've seen that where they bring a boom mic in. So it's like you're on the set of a reality show.
Hey, we need a par 45 over here.
Yeah, okay. Bring the boom closer. The bride's seems like she's muttering a little bit in this.
Can somebody powder the bridesmaid?
Yeah, powder. Yeah, no, but it becomes just a reality show. It becomes a spectacle. You're swearing before God, okay? Now, should I ever been in that position, Mike? I will not when I'm 80. I will not have a full lighting package. Although at my age, maybe I do need the lighting package, so that'd be better. But the issue of sharing photos of your kids online, too much information, TMI. I mean, that is one acronym I love, because I think in the end people don't realize that unless you are immediate family, I mean, not even aunt and uncles don't care that much, really. Unless you are immediate family, no one cares. My next book should just be called No One Cares. Like, my kids will come up to me, Maria called me poopy, or Nico said this, and I said, no one cares. Go settle it. I don't care. I mean, unless someone's bleeding or using a real, bad word, I just don't care. Unless someone's violent, I don't care. Well, she took my Legos. Nobody cares. I think people think everybody cares about every little thing that happens in their lives.
It ends up on Facebook.
Right, and then it's on Facebook. Let's go to Greg, Jacksonville, Florida, line 3. Greg, we'll take calls on this, 855-40-LAURA, on Facebook as well. We'll talk about this. Greg.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. Go ahead.
Well, what I think this really goes to is this rampant, shallow, vapid, narcissistic culture that we've become. And the parents that do this, they're not trying to show their kids off. They're trying to garner attention and accolades for themselves.
Bingo.
And
you can continue my thought. Go ahead, Greg.
Okay, parenting is tough enough, but when you start making your kids' lives try to reflect better back on you, then the flow is reversed the way it should be. We should be pouring our energy into our kids, not sucking it out of them so that other people can give us, praise and attention.
You are the call of the day, Greg. Great insight here on the Laura Ingraham Show and beyond. My friend just told me that what about people who take photos of your children at events and then post them on their site, on their website, or their Facebook, or on Twitter, or beyond, Tumblr, and they don't ask your permission. They identify your kids. Sometimes they don't identify. You still don't want your photo up online. I didn't even think about that aspect of it. That's a great point. Stop sharing. At least I can't control what you do with your own kids. Don't share my kid's identity with other people. 855-40-LAURA. Is this shallow parenting or is this sharenting? We have a lot more to get to. Don't go.
Target USA. Russia
could render huge harm to this country.
North Korea's secret missile.
Capable of reaching the whole of the United States.
Dangerous terrorist.
D.C. is someplace they would like to seek an attack.
Interviews with top intelligence and national security officials. We've got you covered on Target USA.
The National Security Podcast.
Download it every Thursday. And don't forget to subscribe at podcastone.com, the new Podcast One app, and at Apple Podcast.
If you won't share some of your love with me.
Awkwardly remind them to be safe. About to go to the beach with the guys. Can't wait.
Honey, don't forget to wear sunscreen and make sure someone else is always further out in the water so the sharks get them first. LOL in all caps.
Parents on Facebook discussing their children, posting photos. Parents who post other children's photos without asking them. That's infuriating. And identifying your child. So any number of stalkers could find this information out and use it, maybe not use it, but It's not a bulletin board of every movement of your life. I don't think it should be, but that's what people are doing. I guess they get meaning in their lives. They find meaning in their lives or affirmation for their life choices. Maybe they're insecure. Maybe they have too much time on their hands. This is another thing I don't understand. People who are parents who say they have too much time on their hands, what do they do all day? I don't breathe all day. And I know I work, but my friends who don't work, I swear they're busier than I am. Though who don't, when I say don't work in an office or don't have a job. They are running ragged all over town. They're shopping. They're figuring out, oh my gosh, my child needs to be picked up. This activity, doctor's appointment for Johnny. Sally has to be across town for, her dance recital. And then, oh my gosh, I got to pick up Ned. He's at a different preschool. I mean, people are running all over town. How do you have time to post anything on Facebook? I don't have time to do anything. So I don't understand these people who sit around and they meticulously craft these photo montages with a page maker, and they're doing, well, I made a calendar of all my kids' photos. I don't have time to do this. I haven't even done a photo album for any of my children. I don't have one photo album. From the time I went to the orphanage to the time I don't have anything. I'm just the worst. I just figure it's on a cloud somewhere, right? You'll find the photos. You'll find them, and you can put them. Then you can put them together in your own way, right? Let's go to Sue, Nina, Wisconsin. Is it Nina or Nina, Sue, on line 1?
Nina.
All right, good to talk to you. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just calling. I'm not on Facebook. I'm 68 years old, and I just don't think my life is that important to everybody in the world that I should lose my freedom, and that's what's going to happen. They're going to put so much information out there that you're not going to be free to leave your house. You're not going to be free to drive down the road. You're not going to be free to take your kids anywhere because everybody knows who you are, where you are, when you are.
Right.
Why do you think that you're so important?
Well, Sue, it's the celebrity culture too, right? Kim Kardashian has 24 million Twitter followers. 24 million. Justin Bieber, I think about 30 million. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, but they're celebrities. They're in the public eye. This is what their life is. They don't care, right? This is their whole deal. But now with the advent of celebutainment, it's not the entertainment, it's celebutainment, infotainment. Everything is about the cultivation of celebrity. And when you ask these kids in these surveys, what do you want to be when you grow up? When they're little especially, I want to be a celebrity. Used to be, I wanted to be a fireman, policeman, I want to be a doctor, I want a bus driver. I don't even know if they answer those questions anymore that way. It's all, I want to be a celebrity. I want to be on American Idol. I want to be on The Voice. I want to be in I want to be in Dancing with the Stars. I want to be famous. And so that's how they live their lives. They want to be famous. Well, what does that ultimately mean? So I think there's perils in all of this, and we have to decide for ourselves as parents and as individuals. You have a finite amount of time on this planet. How many of you find yourself, you go on YouTube for something, right? And then all of a sudden, you click on this, click. Oh my gosh, I just spent an hour, right? I did this the other day because I wanted to show the kids what the Jackson 5 looked like when they came on the Ed Sullivan Show, okay? I'm really going back. But it's cool to see Michael Jackson, and he was only 5 years old. Unbelievable performer. Unbelievable. They love the song ABC. So they like to watch it. So then all of a sudden I'm clicking on the Jackson 5 when they came on the Carol Burnett Show, which is also a great video. But here I've wasted time clicking. Then, what am I doing? I don't have time to do this, but it's easy to get sucked in. And at first, I want to look at a safari video and the lion taking down the zebra baby and then a rhino protecting the zebra baby. Oh, that's cool. That's fun. Then all of a sudden you're on 5 other videos and 2 hours have gone by. That happens.
Hey, Mom, can we eat dinner sometime soon?
No, right. That happened actually once. Oh, there's a frozen fish stick in the freezer. Just gnaw on that, Nico. You'll be fine. No, but then you realize you've wasted a lot of time, and then the kids start getting cues from this. So Nico, I told you, Nico will say to me, Mom, when can I play a game on your phone? And they don't play games. They don't play computer games. But I think one or two times I've let him play one of these alphabet games. Now it's game. I want the game. It's a total addiction. It's like crack for kids. They just want to be on that tablet. Oh, this happened. Oh, my gosh. I forgot to tell you guys this. In Mass, we went to the 9 o'clock Mass on Sunday.
Where's this going?
Oh, no. 2 pews ahead. Number one, I will say, everybody who goes to Mass, good on you. Good for being there. It's great. It is a little bit distracting, however, to my children when your might have been 4-year-old son has a tablet at Mass with a stylus and is doodling and drawing. What do you think Dimitri said? Mike, what do you think Dimitri said? He saw that. Not focusing on the homily at all.
I want a color.
No. Dimitri said, Mommy, can you get me one of those tablets so I can have that in Mass? And I said, what part of no don't you understand? And this is, of course, I'm then interrupting people behind me. So it's a chain reaction of interruptions because Nico then, I want a tab. Because they see other people. That's not even talking about the people eating the Cheerios and this is like a poo-poo platter on the pew, okay? Cheerios, Cheez-Its, sippy cups. They put out the blanket. They have this is not a picnic. This is Mass. Christ hung on the cross for 4 hours, 5 hours, okay? You can go without eating for 45 minutes. Unbelievable. I've never seen anything. But now tablets being brought to Mass. I can't. You just have to stop. The Game Boys, they don't look at each other. They're sitting at the dinner table. They go out to dinner, take a family time, go out to dinner, and then the parents just don't even pay attention. The kids are looking at the tablets, not talking to the parents about anything. So they might as well have the kids at home being with each other than at a restaurant looking at their little Game Boys, not talking to the parents or engaging at all. 855-40-LAURA. I've sucked enough of my time on this topic. A new story that just broke in the Washington Post. Speaking of education, our children, and how we either train them to be mature adults who take responsibility for their actions, know that you don't always win. Sometimes you'll lose. You'll get up and try better the next time. Fairfax County Schools in Virginia are considering a new grading policy that would eliminate the zero. In other words, you don't turn in your homework assignment. James and Mike never turned in their assignments.
I always turned in my assignment. It may have been late.
Oh, as
if. It may have been late.
Guess what? Teacher
Ingram.
Bite. Teacher Ingram, you turn in late, it's a 0. There's no such thing as turning it. Oh, can I get extra credit? No. You can't get extra credit. There's no such thing as extra credit.
What do you mean there's no such thing as extra credit?
No, if you're a student who turns in on time, you can do extra credit. But if you're a student who tries to brown nose me by doing extra credit after you failed to turn in assignments 3 times in a row, no, you're not getting extra credit. Okay. Fairfax County Schools, you're right. You'd fail. Is considering sweeping changes, okay, that could help struggling students keep their grades up, okay? In a message sent to thousands of teachers on Tuesday, the deputy superintendent detailed a series of proposals under consideration to revamp the way teachers hand out grades to students and standardize exam scores across the county. The changes could have widespread impact in the school system, affecting students' chances of getting into college and how teachers handle homework and tests. Under the current rules, high schools in Fairfax have flexibility to decide grading scales and methods. For example, an F may equal a 0 at some schools, but 50% at others. It's time to re-examine our grading policies. The majority of the changes he outlined to teachers would aim to create consistency in how students are graded and also give those struggling more opportunities to improve their scores. Under the system, student grades could be calculated partly on their effort in classroom as well as their test scores.
This is set up for failure.
Overall, I think it makes sense for a system like Fairfax to have a uniform grading policy. So that's, you know what this reminds me of? Common Core. We want standardized tests, Common Core, Common Core. But when you peel it back, it's really, there are other motivations. So they want to be rewarded equally for the work they do, regardless of whether they attend certain schools. So the idea of having, I guess it makes sense, right, to have if a 0 is a 0, that's fine. So I understand the idea for uniformity. But if what you do in the end is downplay how students perform in regular tests, not just standardized, by the way, subject matter tests, I don't understand how that helps kids.
It doesn't.
Because you raise your hand a lot in class? Yeah, that could be part of a grade, but that shouldn't affect what you get on your test. That shouldn't bring your grade up on your test because you take part in class discussion. I don't understand that at all. If you fail to turn in an assignment,
yeah,
you should get a 0.
Right. I mean, they're saying give you just a 50 because it's
right,
enough.
Right, because it's a 50 and
but they don't understand at the end of the year you calculate every point.
Right, and every point should count. So
if you add up 50s all year long, it's not going to be as bad.
Oh, yeah, right, Mike. Where'd you go to math? What'd you get on your math SATs? You replace zeros. This is the end result, as I feared. Zeros are going to be replaced with 50%.
Oh, jeez.
So, okay, no. 855-40-LAURA, your reaction to that. Zeros don't mean 0 anymore. Now 0 means 50%. This is maddening. You try that in corporate America. You try that little game. Oh, I made an effort to make the deadline for the product release, but I didn't make it. But I put in a lot of effort along the way. I went to a lot of meetings. I put in a lot of effort. But, I know you guys advertised it, that we were releasing the product on May 1st. I hate to tell you, I'm not going to make that deadline. I'd like to be considered for a promotion based on my work up to date. You failed the test of the product release. You failed. You should be out. You would be out in most companies today. As my mother would say, dear mother resting in heaven, going to hell in a handbasket. And no, you make excuses for kids now, they're going to try to make excuses for themselves in the future and have, as she would say, a rude awakening. Coming up on the Laura Ingraham Show, your reaction to this. Should a 0 be a 0 in school? Or should we give these kids who are having troubles just a little leg up? I think a lot of this is about the immigrant population coming in, too. They're not able to do this work. They're not able to do these tests. I think that's another aspect of it that Fairfax is having to grapple with. How many languages? 17 languages spoken at one school in Fairfax County? How's a teacher supposed to survive that? How are kids supposed to survive that?
You're listening to the best of the Laura Ingraham Show.
I think that we have taken a step as a student organization to really support children. It's given the students an opportunity to recover and be able to succeed by the end of the final year.
By setting the minimum at 50%, we're allowing them to kind of get something for nothing. And I think there's a huge ethical problems with that.
You get 50% just for showing up. Now, you don't give zeros anymore in certain school districts, including, looks like in Fairfax County, Virginia, big proposal gaining traction. Let's go to Ryan, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Freedom, Ryan. Line 1. Ryan, welcome.
I work in a district where they instituted a 50% minimum score. So even if a student ends with, say, 46, you're reminded to change it to a 50 before the grades are reported.
What is your feeling about that?
It's absurd. It's a fantasy. The student knows it's a fantasy. The parents know it's a fantasy. I often wonder how much of the community knows that's actually the case. But I can't say that we would be doing it for a reason that you're thinking maybe Fairfax is doing what they're doing. But I don't think demographically the info is there for that. But I mean here. But I just can't even imagine. It's just. Do we want students thinking that they got a 50 or pretending they did? It's not a lie if you believe it, or when people seeing, hey, this kid's getting a 28%, what's going wrong? It's way more than just not doing your work.
Ryan, it's teaching children to tell lies, if you ask me. That's a lie. It is an untruth that you received a 50 when you didn't receive a 50. So we're trafficking in falsehoods with kids. I think that's a terrible place to start with kids. I think the best place to start is to explain the truth. You really screwed up here. You didn't show up. You basically didn't show up for this test. You got a 28. You got to pull it up. And maybe there's a way to do extra credit that would make sense and be equitable. But you got a 28. What are you going to do now? Versus saying, no, you got a 50. Well, actually, I got a 28. No, we're going to give you a 50. They're going to start expecting that in the workplace. They're going to start to expect that in relationships. If that is the perpetually reconfirmed message throughout, maturation. Numbers aren't really numbers. What is the truth? Does it matter anymore? I think we're finding that there are a lot of casualties in this world when we get away from the truth. We're seeing it in politics. We're seeing it in entertainment. And we're seeing it in education. We try to be truth tellers here. We don't always succeed, but we're trying. Great calls, great comments. We'll continue it on Facebook, where we won't overshare. Thanks for being with us.
If a student has a job or someone has a job and they make $10 an hour, they would never expect to work for 2 hours and get $50 in pay.
This has been the Best of the Laura Ingraham Show.
Thanks for listening to the Laura Ingraham Show podcast. Download new episodes every week at podcastone.com. That's podcastone.com.
Hey everybody, it's Chad Prather here, the guy that's unapologetically Southern on YouTube. Join me every Thursday for the Chad Prather Show exclusively here on Podcast One. I'm bringing armchair philosophy and observational humor to what's going on in the world. As guests help me sort it all out. Nothing is off limits on the Chad Prather Show. Again, every Thursday, it's new episodes of the Chad Prather Show right here on Podcast One. Download and listen to new episodes exclusively on podcastone.com, the new Podcast One app, or subscribe on Apple Podcasts.